Besides the Commander-in-Chief and the Chief of Defense Staff in that order, the next line of leaders of the armed forces comprises the service chiefs. In Nigeria's context, these are the Chief of Army Staff for the Army, the Chief of Naval Staff for the Navy, whilst for the Air Force it is the Chief of the Air Staff. As the service chief of the Nigerian Army, vanguard of Operation Lafia Dole, incumbent Chief of Army Staff General Buratai helped turn the tide against the Boko Haram insurgency by raising troops' motivation to an unprecedented height through his exceptional leadership qualities.
The troops, the human beings, they need to be supported, they need to be encouraged, and they need to be provided for.
One of the ways that General Buratai has continued to demonstrate his unique and inspirational leadership is through regular operational tours of the front lines of Operation Lafia Dole, where he sometimes spends nights with his officers and men during such visits. It is noteworthy that no previous Chief of Army Staff has undertaken operational visits to the theatre of the war to bolster the morale of troops on as many occasions and within such a short period spent in the saddle as General Buratai has done to date. Apart from his frequent visits to the theatre of operation in the northeast, the courage and fearlessness demonstrated by General Buratai as he persistently traverses treacherous terrains to meet and spend time with troops in dangerous frontline positions have further endeared him to the troops and inspired them to fight gallantly in the realization of the mandate of Operation Lafia Dole.
The Nigerian Army is proud of you. The country is proud of you. Mr. President is equally very proud of you. You are doing very well. And I want to urge you to continue in this manner.
And there is yet more to the motivational content and effectiveness of General Buratai's visits to troops in the front lines of Operation Lafia Dole. For during these visits, General Buratai sets out to get acquainted with the problems and challenges of troops firsthand, so that such could be tackled promptly.
I entertain one or two questions, if there are, or comments or observations.
Sir, I wanted to use your good opportunity, sir, to relay for course, sir.
Okay. How many courses have you attended?
Sir, I didn't attend anyone, sir.
Okay. Look at it, okay?
Thank you, sir.
The caring disposition of General Buratai continues to endear him to troops, just as it equally strengthens troops' resolve to fight gallantly to reciprocate his palpable concern for their welfare and general well-being. With General Buratai's exemplary leadership qualities, acts of cowardice like taking flight upon sighting the adversary, abandonment of weapons, equipment and hardware, and even colleagues, both during firefights and in the course of sustained battles, and other forms of cowardly behavior that were rampant before the sitting leadership of the Nigerian Army assumed command, have become things of the past in the conduct of Operation Lafia Dole.
Let me tell you the truth. The heads, the leadership of any organization determines to the level of success that organization will succeed. It's basic. So the leadership we have now in the military is a serious leadership. That's people-oriented leadership that listens to the complaints of the people, that listens to the complaints of the officers and soldiers. And that has actually impacted on what we are doing.
The Chief of Army Staff specifically has been, in fact, very unique. It is, the kind of enthusiasm and support that he has shown in this, shown towards in the theatre that has actually given rise to the kind of successes that we have made. And I think that looking at what we have and what is already planned for us, I think that it's just a matter of time that we'll see the end of insurgency in this part of the country.
What the Chief of Army Staff did was to give us leadership. And when a leader is selfless, when a leader is committed to the welfare of his troops, when a leader goes to the front line to see how his troops are faring, it boosts their morale. Now, all the soldiers have seen their Chief of Army Staff in the battle line. And that is a very big turning point of the entire fight. We are fighting against Boko Haram, and the reason why successes are being achieved. Before 1 month passes, the chief must make a visit to the front line. He comes here and he spends sometimes 10 to 14 days with us here. And that's a massive, massive influence on us. So we are great and lucky to be blessed by such a leader at this point in time of our fight against insurgency.
2 weeks never passes by before you see the chief of army staff coming to see the troops in the field. Nothing, no other morale can a soldier expect more than that.
We have a very resolute leadership and the person of Lieutenant General Tuko Buratai, who has provided the material, men in both of in terms of men and resources, to ensure that the vision which he has set aside for us is achieved on the ground, and that he has also ensured that the professionalization of the army is forefront as a front burner in his quest to get to the army to a greater height.
We are ever ready, and with the motivation we are getting, we will be able to achieve our objective.
Since the present chief came on board, he has personally come here again and again to motivate us. He's always with us. Most of the time he's there, and when he comes, he stays 1 week, 2 weeks, and going from location to location within the theater.
The sentiments expressed by these top brass on the impact of General Buratai's outstanding troops' motivational skills in turning the tide of successive battles in favor of the Nigerian Army-led Operation Lafia Dole are shared by both intermediate ranking officers and non-commissioned officers deployed in the campaign alike.
That's about the best thing that has happened to the troops in the theater. But this time around, the Chief of Army Staff himself comes into the theater, even advances with the troops in some major operations. What better morale do you give to troops like that? So the troops are very confident. Now the trust has now been rebuilt. The chief himself is here. So whatever befalls the troop befalls the Chief of Army Staff as well. So definitely they believe that everything is, in fact, it has given the right morale to the troops. And anytime you call upon them for any operations, they are ever willing and ready to go.
The COAS, who is the Chief Army Staff, who is coming to visit and pay attention to soldiers, it makes the morale of the soldier very high, because it shows leadership quality to make sure everything concerning the morale of the soldiers have actually been great.
Because I believe it is all about leadership by example, and I believe it's very present. COAS is doing something on that, which I believe has really helped improve in the operation. Morale booster 1 to the troops, and at least has boosted the confidence of individuals, soldiers in this very operation, knowing fully where the Chief of Army Staff is involved in the battle as well, and all other principal officers. So it has really given the troops confidence to go up there and fight.
Well, I'm proud of the Chief of Army Staff, very humane, a man of very few words, but a great man of action. Every citizen of Borno, from NTA, from media, from everything, even before then, people were praising him, the Chief of Army Staff.
The impressive milestones recorded in rolling back the Boko Haram insurgency since July 2015 are no doubt largely attributable to the significant steps taken to revamp and strengthen Operation Lafia Dole from the tactical and logistics perspectives. Nonetheless, the impact of the outstanding leadership attributes of the sitting Chief of Army Staff to rekindle the fighting spirit of troops deployed in the operation through personal example, warmth and empathy has definitely been another key game changer in turning the tide against the Boko Haram terrorists.